specific navigation problems or bearing problems or direction problems, you can call them any of the above. You are given an angle between 0 and 360. 360 will be all the way around, beginning north and always going clockwise. Okay? Now, I didn't put the angles in here for these problems. I can do it kind of as an aside, but I don't do it like that, but I will show you. But now I talked to Mr. Smith because I know, I tried to talk to Ms. Craven last year about how they did it in physics, and she went kind of on a whole thing, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, but I was trying to be consistent. I was trying to be consistent with what the science were telling you how to do it, and it was like way too involved for my little brain. So I was like, okay. So then even Mr. Smith got a little windy. You know, he tried to tell me what the airports do, and I was like, yeah. But anyway, no, he's super nice. But anyway, he said, which was really interesting. He said this is how the airports do it. Like they will say, if you're 180 degrees is your north-south runway. So if you're coming in at 180, you're coming in at the north-south. I don't know anything about landing or anything, but so I guess on some of these you have to turn. But he said that it's easier if you just consistently do this. We'll see. Okay. This will also be called 60 degrees west of north is how you say it. The 60 degrees is west of the north, so that's 60 right here. I know it's kind of hidden, but and then this all the way around is 300. Okay, so those are equivalent. All right, so let's try number 1. And let me put the angle in here. I purposely left the figure off so that you had to kind of figure it out, because I know that's usually the hard part. Okay, so let's take a look. We got 2 ranger stations. Oh man, X and Y. Wow. Okay. Are on the east-west line. Okay, get this thing out of here. 75 miles apart. So right now, here's X, here's Y. They are 75 miles apart. Okay. All right. The fire is located at point F, bearing north 55E, which is 55 degrees east of north of station X, and 10 degrees east of north of station Y. Okay, so it's over to the east. All right, so put where you think F is going to be, where the fire is. Where do you think F is going to be? Maybe somewhere over there up to northeast, because they're both. Try not to, where do you think F's going to be? It has to be this far from and this far from Y. Okay, so let's say this is my north and south here. Okay, so let's see, let's put F up here. Is that where you put F? So east of north would make me about 55 degrees right here, right? Because it's from the north. So it has to be 55 from the north, so it has to go this way.
Yeah, that's
right. Okay, it is, you're right, it isn't far enough out here. Okay, so let's, undo here. I didn't get far enough over here. How about that? All right, so 55 degrees of north, okay, and then where's the 10 come in? There's another north, And then 10 goes right in here. All right, perfect. Let me drag this out here. This is the one that was in the book that I got these out of. That's exactly what we did. Okay, so good work. All right, okay. Now, let's see, you're looking for what? How far is the fire from station X? So we're looking for FX, right? All right. So give yourself a minute and let's figure that out. Let's try here so what do we have this little dude as? 90 minus 55, which is 35. Okay, and that leaves us with, what's this guy right here? 100, not 110, 100. 90 plus 10. I know I did it the first time too. That's weird. Okay, and then this is 180 minus 135, right? Which is 45. Okay. We have a matching side angle, so we can use the law of sines. Okay. So sine of 45 over 75 equals the sine of 100 over whatever fx is. Okay? You should get around 104. 0.455, and that is miles. 70,000 miles. Okay, so we did a little subtraction mistake, which in turn would give you a mistake here. We did an addition mistake here. So everything you got to just double check, make sure you're good. Okay. All right. So let's try another one. A ship leaves Port P on a bearing of 32 degrees. What does that mean? That means it's 32 degrees from the north going clockwise. So here's your port. There's your 32 degrees. Okay? And travels 9 miles. Right? Then the ship turns due east. Due east means straight, right, not a little bit north, and then right, straight right, and travels 6 miles. How far is the ship from Port P? Okay, so draw yourself the rest of this figure, and I'll come take a look at it. You have 32 degrees, and you have due east. This was 9 miles. And then you had a little shorter that was 6 miles. Due east is straight east. And you landed there. How far is the ship from Port P? So you're looking for that. Okay? This is 58, right? From here to here, because it's the leftover of 90 minus 32. Right? And then what do we do? Here?
Yes, all the way to what we horizon. And then you know that you have a 90.
And you know that's 90.
And because of the geometric sense, you know that.
This is now a right triangle.
Yes, so the bottom angle.
So this is 90 minus 58, which we already know is 32. Okay? So you came up with a right triangle here. Okay, because that's what we created there, that north-south thing. Does everybody get that piece? So this really is what? 32 plus 90, which is 122. Okay, so there's your third piece of your triangle. We got a little bit mess here, so let's try it again here. Okay, hold on. So we got 122. 9 and 6, we're looking for that. How'd you do it?
Okay, Well, but you know when there's like two lines, it's transversal and the two.
Okay, but we don't, do we know they're, oh, okay, so you did parallel.
32, 32.
Okay, that was smart.
90.
That was good, because you know the horizontal ones are parallel. Very good.
What are those?
Alternate interior probably.
Yeah, those are also an interior, and then you can assume the
Yeah,
others are
58.
90 because they share.
Okay.
Are there the straight line up from like, right to like the y-axis, and then I did put any degrees in that?
Then you went this way.
Yeah.
Okay, good job. Y'all are being inventive, that's good. Okay. Again, 200, that's what I got.
Oh,
200.
would it be better to truncate it?
No, I just don't think it's a policy, but no, it's not. Okay, so you did the log cosines, right? Whatever you wanted to call that. 9 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 9 times 6. Cosine of 122 degrees. Again, something my rounded was, I got something like 174, yada yada. Now, when you're rounding, I just want to say this, I know I probably said it before, when you're rounding to 3 digits, even if they're zeros, you need to show them, because otherwise it looks like it's a perfect, answer. And that is miles, okay? All right, so you're doing good on your figures. Let's keep going here. All right. 2 ships leave port at the same time, one in a direction 70 degrees east of south at a rate of 18 miles per hour, and the other in the direction of 85 degrees west of south at a rate of 21 miles per hour. How far are the ships at the end of the 1 hour? Okay, so I'm assuming here's your port you're leaving from. Okay, I'm not going to give you any hints. So I'm going to go ahead and try. There's my south. So I'm going 85 west. Rate of 21 miles per hour times 1 hour. That's 21. And 70. That's 18 miles an hour for 1 hour. That's 18. I'm looking for this. Okay. Did y'all get this? You didn't get that? No. Okay. So 70 and 85 is what? 155. Do you use a lot of cosines or a lot of sines? Cosines. So x squared equals cosine. Yeah. Yeah, and that is that's why I always ask you which one you're using, and then that if you say a lot of cosines and you sine, well then I can't. That's the problem. That is a common error, so that's why you got slightly off. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I did say like 3 hours, would you just multiply it into like 3?
Yeah, 3 times time to give you that distance. Good question. A ship leaves the port and sails 30 miles due east, straight east. Okay, then the ship turns and sails 40 miles, 30 degrees north of, east of north, backwards to me, and drops anchor. Second ship leaves the same port to rendezvous with the first ship. What course should the second ship take from the port, and what distance will the second ship travel?
Is the first ship?
They both leave the same port. And then they rendezvous, so they go like this.
And
And then into the
does
same.
it tell you what the first ship is up to? I don't think so.
Waiting for the other to rendezvous. It sails 40 miles due east, 30 miles, and then goes that direction. Then he stops and drops anchor. And then the second one just gets to the first one.
Oh, so instead of doing two things, it's okay.
All right, here's my port. I go due east, 30 miles. And then north, east of north, so I go 30 degrees this way, I go 40 miles. 30 degrees, 40 miles. And here's where I sit and wait for the other one. And rendezvous. This is part B. This is the piece that we want. Is that what your figure look like, Blaze? Good work. And then what are we looking for the A part? What course should the second ship take from the port? That's going to be a direction thing, right? Yes. You'll want to do, north or south here, your degree here, and your east or west here. We've got 60.828, right? Okay, now over here, we have a triangle. You have 120. You were looking for this, right? I call that Z, but you can't hardly see it. So, let's try it again. $120, 30, and 40. All right. You got to stick with the law of cosines once you started with that, because you'll have two different values. This is, can we find that? We know this one now, right? So now, to find part A, you're going to use, we want Z, so that's across from 40. So we start with 40 squared equals the other two squared. Make sure, don't use that. That might show up differently here. Minus 2 times 30 times your 60.828 business cosine of what? Z. Okay. And then that Z, cosine of Z will give you something, and Z will be around 55 degrees. Okay. I don't know why I put minutes there. It's not accurate. Points. There we go. Okay.
I got the same answer when I did that sign.
Really?
Yeah. Or like 1 decimal point.
Okay.
I think it's because, are you doing north and east or something? Yeah, I think it does.
Yes, I do need a 34 degree, don't I?
It's
Yes,
34.
you're right. You're right. I don't want that one. I need, you're absolutely right. Good job. I don't want this one. I want this one.
You did the opposite when you used
So Z equals the 34. Sorry. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have to take 90 minus Z to get the Y, which is 55. So I did the right, 34 would not be correct.
Okay.
No, because that's not due north. So the Y, I had to just label for it. Okay. So we are east of north, degrees, 55 point blah, blah, blah.
It's acceptable to change, to swap the sides of the cardinal direction, so you could say east.
Let's keep it consistent. Yeah, I know.
Wait, why did you subtract it from 90?
Because the Z was in the triangle. The Z was in the triangle, and we want the direction from the north, which is that one right there. So we subtracted from this 90-degree angle right there. Right? All right. Okay.